Hello everyone. As you can see, I've decided to not concern myself with perfection today, as I've let my hair grow imperfectly in disarray to how my inner sound wants it to be. That's right, folks. In what feels like the billionth day of being stuck inside while the world rages on outside, the artist music I had to listen to for this week brought to me a kind of inner peace I hadn't felt in a while. So let's just put away the worries of today with its black boxes that constantly tell you every bad thing that's happening around the world all the time, to let our minds unwind and ponder the infinite.
Is it my turn to wish you were lying here?
You know, it's funny to look back on these guys' music in an age where literally every rapper is more or less trying to sing now, but there was a moment in time where if you were doing soft-sounding music by hip-hop standards, you were automatically seen as a sellout who was clearly reaching for the crossover pop hit. And with Set Adrift being the first song by a rap group to hit #1, it's easy to see how their sudden success with a softer, more mainstream palatable sound might have looked. But their music was more inward-looking, and focused a lot on the escapism of one's own imagination. I mean, there's songs on that album about, like, flying on ladybugs and shit. Of course, their nerdy proclivities might have shown itself a little too much with these pretentious album titles. I mean, the Bliss album, ... vibrations of love and anger and the ponderance of... come on, what are you doing? But I gotta say, upon listening to their first album, Of the Heart, Of the Cross, and Of the Mind, the Utopia... Oh my fucking god, these album titles. But yeah, after listening to it, I didn't get that vibe of doing just whatever to appeal to the radio station. The boring, mid-tempo, late 80s, early 90s songs with soft electric piano and plastic drums with generic love song lyrics. Yeah, that's not what these guys were. But, you know, the song about flying on a ladybug is not going to be the lead single. It's going to be the song about love. But even so, the song doesn't function like the arbitrary writing of a mainstream love ballad. It's written from the perspective of the guy who doesn't get the girl. A contemplation about unrequited love and the complex emotions that come along with it. And if that's not the perfect topic for a mainstream nerdy love song, I don't know what is. And sure, they did sample an 80s love song, but, you know, they didn't go with some middle-of-the-road Lionel Richie shit. No, they sampled Spandau Ballet.
Baby, you send me
Song that's already kind of ethereal sounding in and of itself. Like, if you're gonna sample an 80s song, this is the cool one with musical ideas to remix and play off of. And even so, they sampled it in a way that feels like a transformation of the song into a new psychedelic hip-hop context. Like, sure, people were sampling songs back then, but it was mostly to make backbeats to rap over. Not many rappers themselves were actually building on the original melody of a sample with complex new harmonies. And in addition to that, they were really kind of the first black nerd rap group. I mean, yeah, there were lighter fare like De La Soul and Triumph and stuff, but you never got the impression they considered themselves losers who found the world so distressing they had to disappear into fantasy to cope. And sure, his flows may be a bit wonky at times, but he manages these really poetic turns of phrase in this, for lack of a better word, enigmatic tapestry of images that are perpetually complemented by the silky soft beatwork they create. And the daydreamy sample flip they use is just the perfect background for pensive lyrics about a topic so many artists throughout the ages have tried to capture the spirit of, a love unreturned. But he tackles it in this abstract but still enrapturing way. Even how the verse starts is really unique. It functions like it's dropping you in the middle of a scene, like you're looking through the lens of a dimly lit dream sequence in a movie.
the camera pans, a cocktail glass behind a blind of plastic planks.
Okay, I'm gonna let that sort of weak rhyming couplet go. Besides, we're in the PM dawn hour, man. What even is rhyme? What is the essence of poetry? Is it about words that sound good together, or words that feel good together, man? Okay, I'll stop. But seriously, the first lyrics really do set you in this cryptic starting point where you're given these disparate establishing shots that subtly clue you into where you might be without really giving a specific location away. I mean, we might be in a cool jazzy nightclub, or we could be in somebody's house, or we could be in a person's house that looks like a cool jazzy nightclub because we're in a dream that often melds details of different locations.
I think it's one of those deja vu things, or a dream is trying to tell me something.
And as the verse goes on, there's a continuous string of abstract imagery that illustrates a certain unhappiness about the girl he can't have. But even he seems unsure of what the message of the dream ultimately is. He's just taking us along for the ride down the path of all these abstract images in his mind.
An eye for an eye, a spy for spy, rubber bands expand in a frustrating sigh.
But although it's not direct with its meaning, almost every lyric is infused with images that seem to embody the kind of feelings that, you know, aren't always easily expressible in concrete terms. There's this melancholy, beleaguered acceptance of not getting the girl, as if to personify the love-struck nerd's sentiment of, well, yeah, here's the latest thing that doesn't go my way, but, you know, what are you gonna do?
She's just one of those corners of my mind, but I'll have to put her right back with the rest. That's the way it goes, I guess.
Even the famous ending lyric carries its lovelorn nerdiness on its sleeve. Dude straight up sounds like he needs to take a puff from his inhaler before readjusting his glasses by pushing up the nose bridge part by his index finger. But whereas a lot of songs about yearning for love have a spiteful bent to them, this one seems to be coming from a sympathetic angle. Throughout the verses, we get splashes of him being interested in knowing her, but ultimately being crestfallen at understanding that deep down he'll never be that guy.
Often wonder what makes her work. I guess I'll leave that question to the experts.
Oh yeah, and also I'd be remiss if I didn't mention he was probably one of the first guys to do the hashtag rap thing before it really had a name.
Assuming that there are some out there, but probably alone, solitaire.
And for a technique that's usually clumsily employed, here there seems to be a functional purpose for the disjointed nature of the line. Maybe over a beat not as smooth as this, it probably would have sounded a lot more pretentious, but the sound bed cushions the disconnected delivery so that it kind of adds to the yearning expressiveness he's going for. And it's so fittingly melodramatic when you think about what he's saying. To ruminate on the idea that, though the object of my affection eludes me and dashes my chances of experiencing the bliss of courtship, perhaps it is to ponder that those most experienced with love and have known many lovers in their lifetime are the ones who honestly understand the sick game love ultimately is. And in the depths of their heart of hearts, it is them who all along were truly alone. Solitaire. Like, yeah, it's a bit hammy, but it's in that earnest art school student finally getting out his emotions way that's kinda endearing.
Marionette strings are dangerous things. A thought of all the trouble they bring.
And again, even though the lyrics are abstract in places, they still communicate a translatable expression of emotions that clue you into his mental turmoil. That his vie for escapism is informed by the rejection he may have received when he maybe tried to take action to control aspects of his life, only to be disappointed with how reality played out. And although the lyrics are ambiguous, one can assume part of the distress came from attempting to win the affections of a girl who wasn't interested.
Finds a lady with a fat diamond ring. Then you know I can't remember a damn thing.
And in this dream sequence, we're struck with an image that indicates the woman in question is clearly already taken. Like, he doesn't just say a ring, he says a fat diamond ring. So, not only is she taken, but she ain't exactly worrying about going Dutch on meals. And despite the verses feeling like a dream sequence, there still seems to be a confronting of reality in terms of the girl he wants and how much he actually knows about her.
She said, but you're probably gonna say I look lovely, but you probably don't think nothing of me.
There's this oddly self-aware admission that, although he pines for this girl, his infatuation might not actually be that deep.
She was right though, I can't lie. She's just one of those corners of my mind.
And, you know, how could it? I mean, if it did, he'd probably be with her, wouldn't he? Oh yeah, and then we find out the girl he was talking about was apparently the actress from Married with Children.
Christina Applegate, you gotta put me on.
And, well, I mean, that girl was a damn fox, so yeah, I can imagine the lead singer of PM Dawn was not measuring up to the type of guys she could get. And I guess it makes sense. I mean, of course, the geeky dude pines after the hot bleached blonde chick who probably doesn't really have anything in common with him. But, you know, it's about a dream anyway, so of course he'd pick the hottest actress of the day to drop in his rhymes, right? However, when I think about it, it kind of makes the song even more sad. Not even in his dreams can he get the hot chick. And, you know, maybe the abstract nature of the song helps deliver the aesthetic of its mood better. Because, I mean, bringing up Christina Applegate, it kind of clues you into the fact that it's essentially a song about all the hot chicks he can't get that he whacks off to, but, you know, in a way that's, like, artistic and shit.
She broke a wishbone and wished for a sign. I told the whispers in my heart were fine.
Like, that's a really artistic flourish of a line. Not gonna lie, don't 100% know what the fuck it means, but hey, it definitely sounds romantic. And, you know, as much as the We're in Love and Everything is Perfect songs make for guaranteed hits, I think people also really enjoy narratives of unrequited love like this. How they illustrate the yearning for emotional and sexual validation we've all had for someone we couldn't have. And I think it's kind of brave that he was willing to tap into that kind of emotional vulnerability, regardless of what people were going to think of it.
But I'll have to put it right back with the rest. That's the way it goes, I guess.
Kind of makes me feel bad about that whole news story from the early 90s about him getting shoved off the stage by KRS-One and his crew. And if you didn't know, yeah, it was that KRS-One, the Stop the Violence movement guy. Which, geez, of all people, why was it him who did that? Like, a lot of people didn't like PM Dawn at the time, but I never imagined Let's Rap About Philosophy had asked KRS-One to be the classroom bully to Prince B's soft-spoken nerdy guy. Huh. There's gotta be some inciting thing that led to this, right? Let me look it up. Okay, from most of the headlines I'm seeing, it's because Prince B derided KRS-One by saying KRS-One is a teacher, but a teacher of what? Can't help but feel like that's a little incomplete. That alone just doesn't feel incendiary enough to be a reason why you'd throw someone off a stage. Let me try to find the original interview itself. Maybe a full quote will give us some better context. Here's a direct shot of the article. So in an interview for a 1991 issue of Details magazine, he said, "I don't like black people and I don't like white people. I don't like that kind of thing. Once you consider yourself black or white, you're stupid. The prejudice thing is so stupid. If you are prejudiced, you are stupid. Public Enemy and people like that, they just make mountains out of molehills." What? And after that is when he says the line, "And KRS-One wants to be a teacher, but a teacher of what?" And wow, okay, I think I'm starting to see why hip-hop didn't fuck with PM Dawn anymore. Like, look, I get wanting to be all new age and look past race and your personal philosophical worldview because you think it's better to explore the astral plane of inner dreams to discover the individual beyond human labels and all that fun mystical stuff, but it's another to basically equivocate the people who push for black power with the type of people who push for white power. As if the black people still raising hell aren't responding to centuries of American oppression that systematically kept them at disadvantages since, like, literally its inception. And, you know, being ignorant to that and just not feeling like talking about it, you know, that's one thing. Maybe you just don't know how you feel about the whole thing. But when you specifically say stuff that clearly indicates you haven't thought about how that push for black pride was such a necessary element of building up the black community from the fallout of that 4 centuries long history, you're coming off as real uninformed for a black dude. Like, no doubt, some Public Enemy and KRS-One songs have their issues. But to basically label 2 of the most revolutionary voices in hip-hop at the time as nothing more than race hustlers is just bafflingly ignorant. Yeah, no, I definitely could see how a quote like this would kill your momentum with the hip-hop heads. And while I still wouldn't stand by KRS-One's decision to bum rush their set, because it just flat out makes him look like a hypocrite for the Stop the Violence guy to beat up on the one dude in hip-hop you know isn't going to fight back, I still understand the anger behind the sentiment. Overall, though, I give the song a 4 out of 5. Man, it really sucks to see it go down that way for PM Dawn as far as being in the hip-hop conversation, because the group truly deserves props for bringing an unprecedented hybrid of a sort of abstract beat poetry over increasingly satin smooth hybrid rap R&B beat work. It's a fascinating combo that showed dude was thinking outside of the box, and it made his music have such a different color than what most rap artists were willing to make at the time. But man, finding that quote really brings into sharp relief how a certain level of escapism can blind you to understanding the material realities of what people of your ethnicity are going through. And oh goddammit, this is supposed to be a lax episode away from politics. We were supposed to like meditate and, I don't know, talk about weed or lucid dreaming or some shit. But now we're talking about social issues again, and I can't like not talk about it, right? Cause that'd be doing what he was doing, but everyone deserves a break, right? Holy shit, I can't fucking take it! God, and I can't even tell you to check out the first album on Spotify because it's not even there due to sample clearance issues. The only thing that's available is the re-recorded version of the Set Adrift song he did like a decade or so later that has none of the cool mystical energy of the original. And it keeps tricking me every time because I think, oh, did they finally upload it when I start hearing it on a playlist? But no, goddammit, Spotify, it's just not the same! Why does everything have to be a reminder about disappointing life as I just wanted to put the... No, I'm good. I just needed a minute. Before I forget, this was a Ko-fi request, by the way. So, thanks to Aaron Dunfree for your request, and if you'd like to request it, well, you know, go to the Ko-fi link. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna start working on worst lyrics of 2020 in the best rap songs list, so if you're a patron or you follow me on the social medias, you can respond if you have any bad lyrics or good songs you think I might miss. And hey, look, I know staying informed is important, but I also gotta look out for my own mental health here, so, you know, I'll tune into politics again and, like, maybe...
The election may not be decided on November 3rd, thanks to a bunch of overly complicated bullshit we have.
From now, I gotta go lay down.